Tape loops are so intriguing. Lately I've been watching a lot of videos about tape loops and how artists like Blank Forms or Amulets or Heimbach use them to create drones and textures and ambient patterns for their music. And especially when I watched this video by Amulets about how to make a simple tape loop, and then afterwards this video by Blank Forms about how he records his tape loops, I was really inspired to try it for myself. Sadly, I don't have a 4-track tape recorder or any tape recorder that works actually. When I watched this Blank Forms video about his recording process, it reminded me of a technique I have been using a lot in my Ableton live sets. So basically I want to try to make a tape loop within Ableton without having to buy an expensive tape recorder, expensive chrome tapes, expensive boutique effect pedals. We just use Ableton. Okay, I think a tape loop has two main characteristics. One is the way it loops without a grid, because you cut it after a certain length and it doesn't follow like any grid lines or bar lines. It has a certain time after which it loops, and it's free from the grid. So we have to keep that in mind. And the second thing is the sound of a tape itself. Like I want to try to use Ableton stock plugins and create an audio effect rack that kind of gets closer to the sound of a cassette tape. Of course, we won't reach the actual tape sound. That's why people make tape loops, because you can't reproduce this kind of character. But I think for the sake of it, we can get a part of the way there. So let's do it. So here we are in Ableton. Wait, if this video should be like those inspirational tape loop YouTube videos, this should be on a nice artisan wooden desk. Yeah, like that. And there should also be some random interesting things scattered around. Yes, nice. Let's start. Okay, here we are in Ableton. And the first thing we want to do is to create our blank tape loop. For this, we need a return track, which is empty here, and an audio effect, which is the often overlooked looper. And to make it more like a tape loop, we're gonna set the quantization to none, song control also to none, and the tempo control as well. Record X bars, then plus is nice. And this basic tape loop, where you cut the tape at about 22 centimeters, I think, is roughly 5 seconds. So to simulate that, I would say we record an empty loop and count of 5 seconds. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. Because there's no audio routed into this return track, this is now an empty loop which is running on record armed. So now let's start feeding it some material. 1 second, my MIDI controller needs to be plugged in. Okay. How about I made this. Yeah, I sampled my own tiny Glockenspiel and made it into a MIDI instrument. Nice. So, and we probably want to give it some reverb, some really long and wet reverb. Even longer, I think. And let's add all these spin chords and let's make it not so hi-fi. Nice. I'll send something into a loop now and there it is. It's on reverse. That's okay, because, well, it recorded in reverse, so the sound is the way we played it. But also, when making tape loops, some people like flip the cassette, then the sounds they record are reversed, and you can record like another sound in the normal direction on top of it. So let's do that now. Let's reverse it. Let's flip the tape. Now the sound is reversed. And let's play maybe higher sound. So obviously the amount with which I send something to the looper determines the loudness of that sound within the loop. Oh, it's a faint little bling. So this is a nice basic 2-channel loop. Let's not overdo it. Let's go in here, set it to play so we don't accidentally record something on top, and play around with this tape loop we made. You often see people playing with the playback speed of the tape recorder, and especially with an ambient and drone music, they set the speed to low. So let's set it an octave lower here as well. Instant tape loop vibes. Let's work on the tape sound. I think the most important things is this saturation that a tape gives. And obviously that's the most unique to the tape. That's why people use cassette tapes and also like reel-to-reel tapes, because they have this really characteristic saturation and sound compression that you just can't simulate to the fullest. Nevertheless, we're gonna try to do something similar. So I would say in the very beginning, put some overdrive, maybe not so high, filter it a bit down, not so wet. So we could play around with this to determine the wear of our tape. Let's maybe do that. Put that here. Wear. And let's limit it from, like, say, 65 to 20. Okay. And we should at the very end have it saturate once again to kind of compress the sound. So maybe let's combine a saturator and a compressor. this is a nice start to simulate this tape distortion and compression. Of course, with everything in Ableton you could go on forever, but I think to get the idea, this is nice. So I wanna also think about how to get these other imperfections, this maybe sometimes a bit wobbly. And I'm not sure. I mean, you could like automate the speed knob or put an LFO and have it just move really tinily from like 0.1 up and down. But for the sake of this audio effect track, that would make it really difficult to control the looper. So maybe let's use a phaser. And let's make a chain. So this is the phaser. And this is the dry signal. Okay, this is nice. I'm not sure if that's really how the tape would sound, but my idea of a tape sounds like this. So let's put this to the macro 2 and let's call it flutter, and let's set it from 20 to 65. What I'm not sure. And then turn it down here a bit. Nice. Let's just put a really short delay. I'm still not used to Ableton 10's delay, where they put all the stereo delay and ping-pong in one place. Okay, this doesn't add a lot, but maybe a bit. I'll just put it on a macro. Oh yeah. So if we turn it here, it's really much more worn out. It sounds like it's loose. I'm not sure if I should call this wear and this maybe just drive. I'll do that. So last thing I have on my mind would be the auto pen, to get even more of a phasey sound. Okay. I'm not sure this adds a lot, but I'll map these both to a macro 4. And I'll call this wobble. And I'll map it from minus 24. Okay, let's hear the full rack. Really nice, really nice. Why not save it and have it as a go-to? So yeah, that's the basis of how to make a tape loop in Ableton. Of course, you're not limited to anything. Why not try and do what like I see emulets do a lot, which is have different tape loops of different lengths and sort of mixing them together and fading them in and out. So we'll create another tape loop over here. And maybe we choose a different source. Let's look in the packs here. What's there? Grand piano sounds. Piano hybrid. That sounds interesting. Lost chip. We're halfway there already. Let's use it. Make it a low one. Very nice. This could use some distortion. What's it called? Overdrive. First, let's make our tape loop. So let's make this maybe 8 seconds or something. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we were in F here. Yeah. A higher note as well. So, and let's put our tape. Where is it? User library, tape. Wow. Eerie. I think I forgot something that should be on both of these, and that's a slight filter at the very beginning, or at the very end. Probably better at the very end. So we have two now. One, we can pan them a bit to create some more nice stereo. Let's make a third one, which is more like maybe high and a bit percussive-y. Looper. I'm thinking of like chimes or something. Are there any samples here? Wind chimes dot wave. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear, but there's like building noises because some flat in my building is being renovated and they're just drilling the whole day. But I'll keep making ambient drones to keep me calm. And I'll share them with you. And if there's noise pollution in the place where you live, you can make your own drones and stay calm. So let's look at these chimes here. It's a super nice sound. I mean, we can see maybe what would happen if we don't put any effects on there. And just see how much our tape loop rack actually does. Wait, we have to make a tape first. Let's make it somewhere in between the first two, so 6.5 seconds. Oh, there I made a mistake. This should be set to none. That's really important. Did I do that here? Set to global. Okay. It's none, none, none. Let's make the tape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. So, let's go. There's this one. So how about now we play this sample a bit slower. So just to get it like a different waveform. So let's do what I said earlier. Let's like take the tape out, put it on the other side so the loop is reversed now. Now the chimes are reversed and we can put the other ones on top. Okay. Yeah, it's not perfect or anything, but it adds this shimmer that I was looking for. So now let's add the tape. And now we can play with this. So we start with this one. Yeah, so that's just to see the basics of all the possibilities you have if you want to recreate tape loops in Ableton. Of course, you could go on to recreate other return tracks. You can enable the sends on all of these and create another return track where you put a reverb and you can send them into a reverb. Or, I mean, now you're in the DAW domain. You can do crazy stuff. You can then send the reverb back into one of the tape loops.
yeah, you can add more, and then you can play some nice piano on top of it. You could even like do stuff in the grid here, because all of these are set to none in the quantization. Their speed won't change when you start to make like ambient beats over here, and you could just have them playing in a drone. Even in a live set you can create these kind of loops. That's actually where I got the idea, because I made this.
So thanks for watching this video. I'm gonna continue making videos and I hope to see you again. Until then, thanks for listening and goodbye.